Hello, and welcome to a video reaction / read along with me as I take a further deep dive into the Hunger Games franchise, which my review on the first book will be coming out. I don't know why, but I forgot to plug my microphone in when I filmed it yesterday. So today we actually made sure to plug in the microphone, and we are going to be reading the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is a prequel to the first Hunger Games book, and it follows the story of President Snow as he is a mentor for the 10th annual Hunger Games. So this is my read-along video. You guys would just grab your snacks, grab your drinks, we can get into it. All right, roll the intro. Also, I'm sorry if you guys hear any noises in the background at all. I do have neighbors and sometimes they play music, so I'm sorry if you guys might hear that, but I already started it, and the one thing I notice is that Snow's family is actually kind of poor for capital citizens, and I wasn't expecting that at all, and I did not realize that back then there was like what was called the Dark Days, where the rebellion happened and the whole reason for the Hunger Games began in the first place. So his family was too poor to get their houses fixed, because where we see it now, the Capitol is actually in the process of repairing itself, but only the wealthiest can actually afford to fix their homes. So I find this whole part interesting, as well as the inclusion of roses, because roses, I do know, become more of a Snow's thing in the Hunger Games series. So the fact that his grandma grew roses, and that's kind of one of the reasons why he wears them often, is kind of a nice thing to know about. The reaping day is declared as July 4th. And Panem is implied to be the remains of what was America. The day children are reaped and selected to be in the Hunger Games every single year is July 4th. Wild. One thing that I've noticed in difference on page 14 is that the Hunger Games in the first book is mandatory. Everyone is made to watch it. Everyone is forced to watch the Hunger Games every single year. But in Snow's time as a mentor, people had the option to watch or not to watch, and quite a few people avoided watching it in the Capitol and around the districts. So I wonder if anything Snow causes in this book is the reason why the rule is implemented. Just a weird difference. So I am on chapter 2, and so far all we know is that Snow's family is actually poor, that he has a cousin named Tigress, who we do actually see in, I believe, the Mockingjay movie, and helping Katniss, and then his grandma is really old, and her husband died in the fighting that happened in the Capitol. And so he gets assigned the District 12 girl as a mentor, and he already thinks that everything is kind of a lost cause, and that he might be losing his apartment because now taxes are being implied on Capitol citizens. So, on to chapter 2. So, we see the reaping of Snow's tribute, whose name is Lucy Gray Baird, and it's implied that she had a snake or something dropped into her skirts, and I like this one line to describe her, because she's in this really rainbowy, ruffly outfit, and it says that she's like a butterfly among a sea of moths, which is really kind of an interesting way to describe her for the first time. So yeah, I think that was actually kind of a cool introduction for her, and that a lot of the girls in the Capitol room watching with Snow say that she looks like a circus performer. I kind of like that, so just thought I'd include it. So there's this description of what was happening actually in the Capitol when these dark days happened. And he's talking about how, like, everyone is starving, not just the districts, but also people in the Capitol were starving. And that it got so bad that they seen dignified people of society literally committing acts of consuming each other's meat, if you know what I mean. That him and his cousin Tigris had been out on a snowy morning during these days looking for food, and that they seen their neighbor, who was a titan in the railroad industry, eating off of, like, sawing a maid's leg off that they also had recognized previously in the day. That she was perfectly fine, and when they were heading home in the night, that they seen this guy sawing her leg off. Are we sure these books were meant for teenagers? Because that's dark as hell. Holy crap. So, I just finished chapter 2, and I'm on to chapter 3. But after chapter 2, the most we learn is that the headmaster does not like... he does not like... I can't say... Coriolanus? I'm just going to say Cornelius. I know it's not the right way to say it. But Coriolanus. Okay. He doesn't like Coriolanus a lot at all, which, given that he becomes President Snow later on, yeah, I don't quite like him neither, but I really don't like this dean even more. Like, why the hell you got beef with him, man? He hasn't even really done anything yet. Just wait till he gets older. Then we'll all back you up. But right now, he's a teenager and he hasn't really done anything, from what I can tell. So, yeah, on to chapter 3. One interesting detail that I've learned in chapter 3 so far on page 39 is that this is the first year that they were allowed to interview and then broadcast these interviews of the tributes to the entirety of Panem, because he says that they were all thrust into the arena the day after they would arrive in the Capitol before. But now they're trying to make a spectacle of the games, so they are allowing the mentors to interview their students or their tributes and then put them on the television program for live TV. So this is the first year that they do these interviews, is the 10th Hunger Games. Wow. And it just really shows the contrasting differences between when Katniss's games are all well planned, there's these long stays, there's, you know, everything has its own structure and everything is already in place, where in this book, everything is slowly coming into place as things are happening. Like, it's well established that the interviews happen in Katniss's time, but now these are just new in this book. So it's cool to see these things kind of coming into play that we will, what that Katniss herself will know as usual and like normal later on down the line, where they're not in this one. So yeah, just an interesting bit. Like this comparison, in the Hunger Games, the tributes are all taken on their own personal trains to the district where they have food and water and, you know, luxury basically stay on the train as well as in the Capitol up until the games, where in this one, Snow is waiting for the train that the tributes arrive in so he can meet his tribute, Lucy Greybird, and they're literally put in a livestock trailer. They're literally put in like a livestock train that smells of manure, and they're all chained up with like handcuffs in front of them. And there's no windows. It doesn't even look like there's any ventilation in this trailer when they're taken out.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Disgusting. So in a way, Snow does, I guess, make things better for the tributes later on. Because who else would have made these changes later on? from livestock cars to luxury trains. Crazy. And I just finished chapter 3, and the biggest revelation is not only do they have to ride in livestock cars for this Hunger Games, but they get dumped into the monkey house at the zoo, with a whole bunch of Capitol people looking at them from above. What in the barbaric bullshit? Like, you thought Katniss's Hunger Games were bad, but like, what the fuck? So yeah, this book is clearly going to be different from the first one. This is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. It is the prequel to The Hunger Games, so of course things are going to be a little bit different and see some differences along the way. So I am about almost 40 pages in and actually 3 chapters deep, going on to chapter 4. So I think I'm going to leave this video here. If you guys want me to continue the read along with me as I read this book, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like and the subscribe button. It does help out my channel, but you're not obligated to, of course. And if you're looking for my socials, you go to my link tree. You'll find my socials in my link tree. Everything is there, the whole kit and caboodle. And I don't just talk about books. I also do movies, TV shows, reviews of those things, and I talk a little bit about internet drama. So it's a whole large array of content, and I'm sure you'll find something you like if you take a look around. And with all of that out of the way, I'll see you guys later, and I hope you have the best day. Bye.